This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Time to head out to Augusta National. We've got Grant Hall with us. Always appreciate talking to Grant on a Wednesday. But he's usually in Fayetteville when we're talking to him. He is at Augusta National right now. We get a chance to talk to him while he's there. Makes it a little bit different. Grant, how you doing? How's everything looking out there?
Well, it's beautiful today. Interestingly, Phil, this morning it was so foggy that at 8 o'clock here, you couldn't see 50 yards ahead of you. And so Bryson DeChambeau took off on his practice round. And by the way, he just started, I think he might have been first out on the par 3 tournament. But they said, "Can you see anything?" He said, "Yeah, I can just make out the corner of the bunker up there." So he hit it. And his caddy said it went right down the middle, of course, not knowing where the thing was. I got up there, and it was in the right bunker, and he knocked it on the green. And of course, his drive sounded like shotguns going off. But he's lost some weight, and some other guys have lost weight. I think Tiger's lost some weight. Keegan Bradley's lost about 25 pounds. And but today it's going to get up to the high 80s. And then the rest of the week is bad weather. It's they're already actually talking about the possibility, kind of whispering about the possibility of going to Monday. You know, if they can't, because Saturday's going to be awful. It's going to be like 52 for a high with rain and 17 mile an hour wind. You know, so that, I mean, they're just hoping to get the thing done on time.
That's wild, yeah. Especially if you got to get lucky with the weather. Do you? How good a chance do you think Rory has to complete the Grand Slam this week? I was listening to Tiger, and Tiger said Rory's going to do it. It's just what year? Do you kind of think Rory's going to do it? Do you think that this year he has just as good a chance as anybody?
Yeah, I think he's got a very good chance, and he's getting to that point in his life. You know, these are prime years, and you don't want to let them get away. I think Fred Couples won when he was 32 or something like that. Rory. If there's one weakness, he sometimes doesn't hit the ball that close with his wedges, and he's got a lot of shorter shots because of how far he drives the ball. But he seems to be confident. You know, he holed a bunker shot on 18 last year to shoot 64 on Sunday, and he still lost by 3 to Scotty Scheffler. And there's another guy, Matt, that's really playing well.
He's fun to watch. Yeah, did he win the Players this year?
He won. Yeah, he's won like 5 tournaments, I think, in the last year or so. And I was watching him do a little warm up around the practice area yesterday, and he has kind of like a short attention span. Like he'll hit a couple of shots here and then go there, so it doesn't get boring and all kinds of different shots he might need. But he's another great pick. There are probably 20 or 30 guys you could name. Corey Connors is coming off winning last week. He was tied for 7th here last year. Saw him play a little bit yesterday, and he's striping it. So, you know, take your pick, but should be fun as always.
Grant, as a golf outsider, answer me this question. You know, I understand that the Masters is played at the same golf club, the same course on an annual basis. The other tournaments and the other championships and the majors are not. What stands out about Augusta National in terms of difficulty of a course?
Well, you know, in recent years, it's gone from Fred Ridley just did his chairman press conference today, and he talked about how it was 6,900 yards for a long time. Now it's about 7,500. You know, they continue to link them to keep up with technology, and of course they've taken the 13th hole back 35 yards this year. But more than all that, I think is around the greens. You know, you could play. Somebody could hit every green and still shoot 78, you know, just by 3 putting a lot. You have to be on the proper parts of the greens to have a good chance to 2 putt or 1 putt. That to me is even the bigger difficulty than the link that's gotten to.
Yeah, you got to be an artist around the greens, getting up and down, because you're right. You get up, down, and down, and it turns a par into a bogey real quick, and you can let it slip away from you. How is it with the live golfers, you think? You think any of these live golfers could have a chance? And how is the feeling, I guess, between the PGA and the Live Tour?
I absolutely think that they could have a great chance. Koepka won last week, and he's finally healthy. Dustin Johnson won here a couple of years ago. He's one of the guys. Sergio Garcia seems very determined. I saw him the other day giving the interview, and it's those guys, 18 of them. How much they'd like to win this week.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing about it is everyone's making nice with each other. There haven't been any that I've seen really any harsh quotes from one to another. I mean, there were some coming into the tournament, but now that they're all back together, I think a lot of them are just glad to see each other again. Some of them were together at the Champions Dinner last night, and Fred Ridley made that comment just a while ago that it's been in fact, somebody asked him, would Greg Norman ever be invited to come back here? And he was not invited to come here this year. And Fred made the point. He said, well, he's only been here 2 of the last 10 years, and one of those was to do serious broadcasting. So, but he said, you would never say never. And so it all depends on how this thing does or doesn't get worked out.
That's what gives this Masters a different feel than I guess any other Masters is, when it comes to the PGA tournaments, they're not competing against each other. And golf is an individual game. But this weekend has a little bit, like, I know it's not Ryder Cup, it's not President's Cup, it's not teams, they're not teammates, but in some ways, I mean, maybe, they're carrying the flag for the PGA or they're carrying the flag for LIV. I mean, there is a little bit of a team versus team feel, even though this is just an individual tournament this weekend.
Absolutely. In fact, early in the week, there was a suggestion that if one of the LIV guys won, the other 17 would be around at the end, in a show of solidarity. Now, 1 or 2 of the guys said that's the first they'd heard of that. So, who knows? But, it could come down to, like in the last group, one against the other. It could be that way. So that would add spice to it. And, of course, CBS, I've heard Nance say that they're not going to, they're going to cover the tournament like they always do, and they may not make as much of it as other people might.
Hey, Matt, what do you think of this? What do you think of Rory McIlroy winning the Masters and then walking in front of Bryson DeChambeau and giving him
the Angel Reese?
John Cena, Angel Reese, you can't see anything? Could you see that happening?
That'd be OG right there.
DeChambeau's lost some weight, and he's not swinging as hard. He's probably swinging at 90% of what he was for a while. I don't know if the human body can take that much effort. And in fact, there's Matt Fitzpatrick, who won a major last year, has been injured. He was doing this thing where he kept increasing his swing speed and swinging faster and faster and harder. But now he's here playing, but he's been hurt. So that may be kind of cautionary there.
Yeah, speaking of, what about Tommy Fleetwood? Has he still not won on tour yet? Is this a chance? Do you give him as good as chance? What are his chances? He kind of outsider, 10-1 type thing. What do you think? He got a chance to win it?
That's a great question, and my son asked me the other day if that was a good pick, and I think it is. He's a very good putter, and that helps anybody here. And I think somebody said he was 66-1 odds.
Wow! So, yeah.
That if you're inclined that way, that might be worth taking a flyer on him.
Phil and I were discussing our menu order. What would be on Grant Hall's menu if you had the Augusta menu going on?
Well, in this 5-star restaurant that we call a press building now, they have all kinds of stuff to choose from. I like some of the chicken. A lot of people like the egg. I've only had 2 egg salad sandwiches, so I'm proud of myself this week. Somebody said, a lot of the guys like to eat. The players like to eat down there by that caddy shack by the practice area, and I think who was it? Cam Smith said last year he had 25 to 30 ham and cheese sandwiches, and he was hoping to break that mark this year. So
he must be 24. Yeah, he must be 20. He's a younger guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's like 6 sandwiches a day. That's a lot.
What's that, about 7? That's almost 4 a day, right?
Yeah, I guess it depends on.
Because he gets there Monday, so yeah.
Who needs Uncrustable sandwiches when you've got these sandwiches right there for you? I know there's a couple of Razorback. One former Razorback in Taylor Moore. One current Razorback in Mateo Fernandez de Oliveira. Out of 88 players in this tournament, to have 2 of them that are Razorbacks. That's pretty cool.
Fred Ridley actually mentioned Mateo among the amateurs today. You know, and I talked to Mateo the other day. They rented a house. They've got 10 family members there. He's playing with Bubba Watson and Seamus Power.
Oh, Seamus.
Let's see, 9:48 Eastern time tomorrow. And then you've got Taylor Moore playing with Charles Schwartzel. And
the South African.
An 18-year-old South African named Aldrich Potgieter, who's the British amateur champion. So they're both playing with a past Masters champion. So that's pretty cool.
Any chance they make it to the weekend? What usually is the cut? What are their chances there's a hog playing the weekend at the Masters?
You know, for a long time it would be like 148, and then it got lower and lower. I think sometimes two over. It kind of depends on the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mateo's got a good chance in that he came here in January, February, and March. He played like 9 times coming into this week. The whole Razorback team got to play here in January, which was cool. Brad McMakin's here, his coach. He'll give it a good go. And then Taylor Moore, you know, has been playing well on the regular tour. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be great if they both made the weekend.
What is Taylor Moore's situation as far as the other majors? Because I saw where Mateo got exemptions for all the other majors. So this is the first of 4 that he'll play in this upcoming season. What's the situation for Taylor Moore as far as the British and the PGA and the U.S. Open?
I think that he will be in the Open on his. To tell you the truth, I can't answer that question. I feel stupid not knowing that. But I think he's had a good enough year. If he continues playing well, he should get in the others.
How many Masters is this for you, Grant? If you can count, if you know the number.
This is number 41. So I need 27 more to tie Dan Jenkins. I was looking at that today. I'd have to live to be 102 years old, I think, to catch Dan Jenkins, who had 68 of them.
Who took you the first time?
Well, you know, Frank Broyles was actually on the media committee in 1981, I guess it was, when I went the first time. And so I just asked him, you know, how would you go about it? And I wrote to them. And at the time, your newspaper had to have a circulation of 50,000. And so when we put the Northwest Arkansas Times together with Fort Smith and Pine Bluff, they allowed me to do it that way. Then I qualified, and I just started coming, you know, and it's probably gotten a little bit harder through the years, than that. But I'm sort of grandfathered in now.
That's pretty cool, Grant. Well, then out of 40 of them, is there one that stands out? I'm going to put you on the spot about this. Do you have a favorite Masters that you've attended?
Yeah, I think the 86 Masters that Jack Nicklaus won at age 46, they've been playing all week, if you get Sirius satellite radio, this interview with him and Jackie, who caddied for him that week, and they go back and relive everything shot by shot. You know, the 65 that he shot on Sunday, and a lot of people say that the noise, that the crowd, the patrons' reaction to some of those putts he was making on the back nine were as loud as they've ever heard at any sporting event, you know. And so they relived all that. That's probably, I like personally when Ben Crenshaw won too in 84 and 95, because he had played at Paradise Valley and Fayetteville in the old Southwest Conference tournament. Great guy. He and Tom Kite played there, and so I always followed Ben too. But that 86 to me is probably the topper.
Tom Kite's headwear was my favorite, man. His hat game was OG, if there anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that. He was susceptible to sunburns. He had to wear those.
Oh, he had the gangster hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grant, I hope you enjoy it. Really, you sound like you're just as excited now about it as you probably were in '81 the first time you went. Looking forward to talking with you about this again next week. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks, Grant.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.